girl is back. Your girl is back with another video. Did you all miss your girl? So y'all, I have been so busy. It's like I have not had time to do anything. So I am sorry that I have been gone for a couple of days. I do want to thank you all so much for your support on my last video. And continue to support, honey. We are over here growing slowly but surely, and I am sure appreciative of it. So just make sure that you continue to hit that subscribe button down below and continue to comment and engage, honey, and let's just continue to grow and create a wonderful family here on the channel of Nianta J. So let's do that. So with that being said, today, honey, we're going to talk about the girls fighting. The girls are fighting, honey. The girls are back on the shade room fighting and going back and forth. And we're going to talk about it. You know, we're going to give some background about who these people are. And then we're also going to talk about our perspective on who we think was right or wrong in this situation. So let's start here. So first we have the Taylor girls versus Asian Doll. Okay, the Taylor girls and Asian Doll, that is who is on the chopping block today. That's who's cutting the food today. And we're going to talk about who's right and who's wrong in this situation. Or was there some, or were both people kind of right and both people kind of wrong? So, with that being said, for the Taylor girls, now y'all know Taylor girls, if for those of you all who don't know, they came up in that YouTube duo, couple, all of that. They came up in the era with those people. So the Chris and Queen, Armand and Trey, like sister brother YouTube channels. They're two sisters, by the way. But they came up during that era of people who were just living together in these big YouTube houses, making content, pranks, all type of stuff. That's how they kind of got their rise to fame. But they always did music. They were always known for doing their music. So back then, when I first started watching YouTube and I heard about them, they kind of gave you kind of like, I would say, they kind of gave you like OMG girl vibes. But, you know, more recently, they kind of give you like, they're just the Taylor girls. I don't know. They're just two sisters who want to make some music, and they're trying to come up in the game. And so they have had a successful YouTube career, and they have in more recent times focused more on their music. It's looking like, you know, they've been more into the hanging with industry people. You know, they on the rise. I will say that. They buying their Rolls Royces, they paying for their houses, they got the chains on. So they're really coming up and evolving as young ladies. Like I said, they are blood sisters. It's one of them is pregnant, the other one is, you know, a young city girl, and they stick together, have each other back through it all. So that's pretty much who they are. More recently, they have been in a little bit of controversy, you know, since they've come out and they've, you know, climbed the ladder of success and fame and become more wealthy. A lot of people have felt like they are not as humble as they could be, since they have, you know, gained such a large following and they've become more popular in recent times. And they recently had a lot of drama with Kayla Nicole over just a failed friendship. They did the song Bundles together, you know, go bad bitch, go bad bitch, go. That's them. They were on the song with Kayla Nicole, and that was a big falling out. Basically, some background on that. You know, Kayla and Ty, that is one of the sisters' name. Kayla and Ty, they were friends. You know, they had a falling out before in the past. They were YouTube friends. They met through social media. There was just some, you know, just regular friendship stuff. You know, one person feels like the other person is not being supportive. You know, Ty is feeling like Kayla isn't as supportive. Kayla's feeling like Ty is fake. You know, they go back and forth. They have a falling out on Instagram. Kayla Nicole is the funny girl who went viral for, you know, her ponytail sticking up in the air, real skinny, nice, you know, funny girl. So either way, that's the recent scandal they were involved in. They were involved in a big fallout with one of their good friends, Kayla Nicole. She's another YouTuber. And so lately, a lot of people have been creating a lot of buzz around them because of that falling out and the way it played out. Now, I didn't cover that because I came in on it kind of late. So y'all have to go probably Google search, or, you know, not Google, but y'all can look on YouTube and see what happened with that. But that's why they have been trending. And so people really ain't been here for them ever since then, because they have been giving I have arrived, you know what I'm saying? They have been giving you can't sit with us vibes. They had a few words with another YouTuber. So everybody's kind of on this like, they're not being humble wave, right? So that's the background on them. Now, Asian Doll, y'all know who Asian Doll is. Asian Doll is, she's a wonderful rapper. I don't give up about none of that shit. That song. And she's, been featured on a lot of people's songs. She's on the rise as well. I mean, she has not reached, in my opinion, she hasn't reached like her highest level yet, but she's on the way up. She's getting a lot of recognition. In more recent times, a lot of people really started to gravitate towards her, or really just empathize with her, because she did lose her boyfriend, which was King Von. And so, everyone kind of knows her from that as well. And so she also is, on the rise, and she's at the plateau of her career, and she's about to do some big things. And so, naturally, two female rappers, or a female rapper group and another female rapper who are trying to do the same thing, who are coming up in the same industry. They're both in Atlanta. Naturally, the Taylor Girls and Asian Doll, they start being friends. They all start, mingling with each other, hanging out with each other. One of the sisters, Ty from the Taylor Girls, she actually had a big birthday party. Everybody was invited. We see Asian Doll there. She's hyping her up. And so they're taking pictures together. So they're like the new industry besties, right? And so everything is good. But like I said, in more recent times, the Taylor Girls have been getting a lot of heat and a lot of backlash for their falling out with Kayla. And people just don't like how they're moving, because they're doing a lot of big things. They're buying houses, they're buying cars, they're buying jewelry, they're being unapologetically whoever they are. They're standing on what they're saying, and they're not really backing down from any backlash. So people ain't really here for them right now, and I'm gonna get into that in a minute. But so more recently, everything is going good. But Asian Doll, she is having some conversation with some fans on Twitter. I guess Twitter has this new thing where the celebrities can talk to the fans. So I guess that's what Asian Doll decided to do one day. And she decided to go onto her Twitter space, or whatever it is, and she decides to, spill the tea and pretty much reveal to everyone that her and Ty, I guess, are no longer cool or whatever, because, they had a studio session with Future. And in that studio session with Future, it was Asian Doll presented that it was her and Future studio session. Studio invited her personally to the studio to listen to some of her music, and this session was about her. And Ty inserted herself, and she started to play her music and try to steal the spotlight. So in the Twitter recording or whatever, where she was talking to her fans, she was just like, I'm so nice. I let this girl come along. I mean, she comes to my studio session and she tries to play her music. Even Future is looking at her like she's crazy. So yeah, she pretty much make it seem like Ty's a clout chaser trying to steal the scene, and she ain't here for it. And then after that, there is tea that Kayla and Asian Doll have a conversation, and Kayla reveals some more facts to Asian Doll about Ty's true character, and then Asian Doll is further disgusted by Ty and no longer wants to be her friend. It sounds crazy, and I'm gonna get into my opinion in a second. So in response to that, more recently, I think it was yesterday or so, the Taylor Girls, they drop a video and they tell their side of the Asian Doll situation, and where she's accusing them of being clout chasers, and she's accusing Ty, she's accusing her of coming into the studio session and trying to steal the show. Well, I will say this, the Taylor Girls, they had a well put together, well articulated video. I don't even know if that's a word, but they made a really, really good video, dropping receipts, pretty much saying the Asian Doll is a liar. And I'm gonna be honest, y'all, from that video, is looking that way. Their side is, they were all out partying with Future. They were all out partying with an entourage of industry people, and everybody who was around at that time was invited to come back to the studio after the club. And they went, and everybody who was an artist in that space was allowed to play their music after Asian Doll. And Ty just happened to be one of those people who started to play her music. She said that Future was vibing to everybody's music. There was no awkwardness with her playing her stuff. It was a vibe. And she even said that her and Asian Doll continued to hang out, and it was never an issue after that. They inserted video, and where, Asian Doll, she's saying Ty tagged along, and, Ty, hit her up and asked her, can she come to the studio with Future? But in the Taylor Girls video, they show where Asian Doll is saying, hey, I'm gonna get in the car with y'all and I'm gonna ride to the studio. They have video of that. They have video of everybody in the studio turning up and vibing. So the Taylor Girls video was really well put together, and they pretty much laid it out and said, hey, this was not what it was, sweetie. We were all friends. We're all artists. We were all vibing. We were all partying with Future. And so everyone had the opportunity to play their music for him. We took the opportunity, and you didn't have a problem with it because we continued to be friends after the fact. And so that's pretty much what it is. So Asian Doll sees this. She goes on to her live. She's saying that the Taylor girls are liars. She's saying, and Asian Doll, she's kind of rough around the edges. She done been in a few fights here, so she's kind of like the tough guy. You know what I'm saying? She kind of like gangster. She on there like, don't play with me. I'm Asian Doll. I ain't got nothing to lie about. Y'all are some liars. I'm well respected. I don't put in plenty work in the industry, more than y'all have. Asian gets asked to come to the studio. Y'all ain't nothing. It's a privilege for y'all even be. I'm paraphrasing here, but she's pretty much on that big on herself. Like, look, I'm Asian Doll, baby. I'm well respected. I've been, having people inviting me to the studio. I've been having artists wanting to hear my stuff. Baby, that was my session that y'all tagged along to, and I'm standing on that. I'm standing on everything that I'm saying. So that's pretty much what happened. Now here's my perspective. I'm a little older. I ain't that old, y'all, but I'm about 28, but I'm a little on the older side of the young folk spectrum, so I feel like a lot of this is just immature. Okay. This is the thing, I am not famous, or nor am I a social media influence. So, I just don't understand. But you got to be careful who you call your friend nowadays, because I see the trend is, even with the whole Kayla Nicole situation and the Taylor Girl situation, the trend is we're going to bond off of the fact that we are in the same profession. We're going to take that to heart and try to build a friendship. We're going to really, really have a good time with each other. And when something goes left, we're going to instantly fall out with each other, unfollow each other on Instagram, and expose each other on social media. And that's just not it. That's just not it. At the end of the day, it's okay to not be friends with everybody. It's okay to have people that you have a good time with, you vibe with, you talk to them. But, when you go your separate ways, you just go your separate ways. You don't have to be friends with somebody just because you all are both social media influencers. You don't have to be friends with somebody because y'all are both rappers. I think that's where a lot of people go wrong, because it does get lonely at the top, right? I hear a lot of people say that, a lot of times when you're in the industry and when you out here meeting famous people and celebrities and you're on the rise, your day ones who you grew up with, they probably are still living regular life. They probably still have regular 9-to-5s. They probably can't go with you and be with you. So you probably do have to learn how to make new acquaintances and new friends in the industry. But you should also know how to set boundary and take certain things with a grain of salt. And I just don't think it was that serious, honestly. To me, if you ask me, it was not that serious. Because what happened to you and somebody having a disagreement and falling out and everybody picking up the phone and calling each other and just squashing it and letting it be what it's going to be? Now, people have to run to social media and try to get someone else's cosign on how they're feeling, when at the end of the day, if these people are not in your friendship, if they were not there to witness every single aspect, it's not gonna be fair. So if you and someone really had something worth calling a friendship, and if you and somebody really had a real genuine bond, you know, the social media ain't gotta be in between whatever petty beef or argument or whatever y'all had. Now, if somebody do something shyster like steal your money, mess your credit up, sleep with your man, and they call yourself your friend, oh yeah, lay them out, honey, lay them out. But if y'all just had a disagreement because so-and-so was acting fake, or so-and-so wasn't keeping it real, or so-and-so wasn't being shady, to me, that's nothing that we have to bring onto the internet, because we know how the internet is. The internet will get in the middle of people's friendships and relationships, and they will blow this thing up. They will have people hating each other. They will have people damn near ready to kill each other. You know, and people have killed each other because of, you know, all of the instigation and the aggravation of the topic, and people, you know, holding people to the fire, and what you gonna do? You gonna let her punk you out? You know, people really do crack under that pressure, and it's detrimental over things that just ain't that deep. Because in real life, if y'all were friends, Asian doll, you and Ty, if y'all were friends and y'all went to the studio and you felt like she was doing the most, you could have just had a conversation with her and just let it be that. It doesn't mean that she's a terrible person because she came to the studio playing her music. It does not mean that she got it out for you. It don't mean that she is a clout chaser and all that. It just means that maybe in that situation, she didn't handle yourself how you felt that she should handle yourself. And if this was you all's first time being in that type of setting, you could just pull her to the side and say, look, girl, from now on, when we go to the studio, you know, and somebody has invited me, this is how I want it to go. You know what I'm saying? But all it required was a little conversation. And to me, it just seems like people don't talk things out anymore behind the scenes. It sounds like people just get mad, don't say nothing, keep coming around each other, keep partying, keep turning up with each other, and then just one day everything blows up, and then there's subliminal posts being made on Facebook, and then there's, you know, not Facebook, there's subliminal posts being made on Instagram, Twitter, and it's just a whole mess. And that's why I say I think this generation of people, the younger generation of people, I feel like they just are very, very quick to call everybody your friend. And everybody is not your friend. And you don't have to take everything to heart. And the reason why I'm saying that is, you know, some people just have certain ways about themselves to where, you know, they just can't be someone who you can consider a friend because you all are not compatible, right? But you can still be cordial with them because you all are in the same industry. And so you can still mix and mingle and have a good time with them. But if you know who's really your friend and who's not, then you will understand who you can expect certain things from and who not to expect certain things from. If this is just a girl who you met on Instagram, she was cool, she's pretty, both of y'all rap, sometimes you just got to take that at face value and just keep it that way until time goes on and you give that person enough time to show you something different and let them evolve into your friend. But just because somebody's pretty and they're a rapper and you pretty and you're a rapper, they don't instantly make y'all friends. Y'all don't have to start, you know, expecting things out of each other. Y'all don't have to start confiding in each other. Y'all don't have to start expecting loyalty from each other. Just take it as, you know what, when I see you, I'm gonna see you, we're gonna have a good time. And as we converse more and as I get to know you more, then we'll see where this goes. But I just think this is really blown out of proportion because people just don't know how to handle friendships nowadays. And people just get into these social media friendships and they take a lot of things to heart that could have just been talked out. That's my opinion. Now, everybody's saying who was right, who was wrong, who was lying, who was telling the truth. I think that the Taylor girls were right in the situation, even though a lot of people don't want to admit it because in their falling out with Kayla and Nicole, they were kind of wrong. But here's how I feel about the whole Taylor girl and how people are kind of frowning upon them. People have a bad habit of trying to humble other people. We got to stop doing it, especially as Black people, okay? Yeah, you know, it is obnoxious. I see people who get money, especially people who get money overnight and it's fast and it's easy to them, and they start feeling themselves and they start making everything about materialistic things. And they start kind of like, you know, talking down on people and like, ooh, boss up, boss up. I see that happen, and it can be annoying because it's kind of like, you know what, where's the humility? So I get the concept of wanting people to be humble because you don't want to just base your whole every conversation you have is about materialistic things. Every post you make, you got to flash off your Rolls Royce, your diamond chain. It doesn't have to be that way, right? Because it does start to look a little cheesy. But, you know, that's not for anybody else to really judge. You know what I'm saying? If people are proud of the lifestyle that they work hard to create, and if they want to be flashy, and if they want to show off their $35,000 chains, and if they want to buy Rolls Royce every day, that's their right. They work for that money. And so I just feel like people get too caught up in their feelings when they see people kind of being arrogant, because while it may be kind of obnoxious, that does not mean that these people are terrible, and that does not mean that we have to go out of our way to tear them down and make them wrong in every situation. Maybe in the situation with Kayla Nicole, they were wrong for how they went about it. But in this situation, just because people already have a bad taste in their mouth about the Taylor girls, they're just ready to automatically make them wrong again, and they're not wrong. And that's what people on social media have to stop doing. Just because there's someone with a bad reputation or someone who has unfavorable character flaws, just because you have someone like that, it doesn't mean that every situation they're involved in that involves conflict, it doesn't mean they're wrong. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And so when I give my perspective on things, a lot of times it may seem like I'm rooting for the underdog, I'm rooting for the person who everybody hates. And it's not that, you know, I just want to go against the grain, but it's just social media has a funny way of trying to twist what's right and what's wrong to work for who their favorite is at the time. If you go rob a bank, you're going to jail. It don't matter if you Yolanda Adams or if you are Donald Trump. It doesn't matter if you Beyonce or if you somebody else that everybody hates. If you did something wrong, you did something wrong. It does not change because of who you are. And so what we have to remember is sometimes we have to look at things for the principle of right and wrong. And everybody has their own perspective. Both parties could have been used more discretion when it comes to the Taylor girls and Asian dolls. The Taylor girls could have been more wise about who they choose to follow around and who they choose to hang around. They could have thought more about that. Asian doll could have as well. But at the end of the day, this situation is not a situation where we have to come to the internet and act a fool, because it ain't that serious. Y'all were just some females who had a disagreement. That's what happens when more than two females hang together most of the time. But back to the situation. The moral of the story is this, people. The Taylor girls were not wrong in this situation. They were right. They laid out their video, and y'all go check it out. It's all over YouTube. They laid out their receipts. Their story made sense. And just because Asian Doll is known as the girl who fight and beat people up and who talk tough and she a gangster rapper, don't mean that she right in this situation. She can be wrong too. And that's another thing. Y'all got to stop thinking that because one person is more aggressively outspoken than the other, that, you know, that automatically makes that person stronger, or that makes that person right. No, lay out the facts of the situation. And then the facts of the situation was their story made sense. They had receipts and it was consistent. Okay? And they debunked what she said. And so just because someone is not our favorite does not mean that we ignore what's normally right and wrong, because if the roles were reversed and if the Taylor girls got on here accusing Asian Doll of crashing their session and being disrespectful and all of that, and she didn't say she crashed it, but if the Taylor girls accuse Asian Doll of trying to steal the shine at their studio session, nobody would need any receipts. They would automatically think the Taylor girls will start some stuff because people don't like the Taylor girls. So now that the roles are reversed, it's the same thing. Asian did not have to go have no conversation with nobody on no platform about what happened between her and Ty, especially if she had not talked to Ty about it. So going forward, you know, just for the sake of sisterhood and friendship, just tread lightly when you make industry friends. That would be my advice if I were famous. I would tread lightly. Don't expect too much from industry people. Love people for who they are. Guard your heart. Don't just go pouring your all into people that you met on social media, because what people display on social media may not be what's going on behind closed doors in real life. And everything don't gotta be a big deal, because this right here to me just wasn't a big deal. Even if she did come in the studio and play her music maliciously, I mean, it happens. pull her to the side, talk to her as a woman, let her know, hey, don't do that no more, and just keep it moving, period. Because at the end of the day, if you keep it G, if you a gangster, you know what I'm saying, you know, if you understand how loyalty and respect works, it's also, you know, a part of the code to, you know, come to people as a woman. Talk to somebody woman to woman and let them know where they had you messed up, and come to an understanding if you call somebody your partner. If you call somebody your friend, your homie, and they did something that was kind of left field, before you just completely go to putting everybody else in the business, go to that person and get some understanding and some straightening. Okay? But that's all my thoughts that I have, you guys. Let me know how you all feel about it down below. Subscribe, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye-bye.